Hello and welcome, your glorious set of faces, to a So Rare Premier League preview and prediction show special, courtesy of the So Rare Thursday Club at Santé. New season, new signings, new So Rare cards, same two idiots making predictions. The Premier League is back, and we're about to make some hot takes that will look absolutely fucking ridiculous by Christmas. We've studied the squads, analysed the transfers, and consulted absolutely none of the relevant experts. In case Sorare 27 is the first time you've stumbled across these slightly chubby middle-aged JPEG enthusiasts, my name is Ricky, aka the Sorare Member on Sorare, and I am flanked once more by the top toffee, bread shagger, and master of disaster, the Steed Malbronk to my Lewis Boamorte, the man whose pre-season optimism has always turned to despair by about October. It's the captain of Don Gondor. It's John Dorr. How are you today, sir?
I'm very, very well, thanks, mate. Excited for the Premier League to be back, and more importantly, excited for my beloved Blues to determine my weekend happiness. So yeah, excited to talk things all footy.
There you go. So a little bit of a special from us today. But before I tell you what we're getting up to on the video, a quick plea that you must get in every YouTube video nowadays. So here goes. Thanks for joining. If you could like, subscribe, and all that vibe to help us keep the bills on at STC, it'd be much appreciated. Drop us a comment. Who does this thing best? Who does that thing best? We love you lots. Much appreciated. Always the best. Peace. Yeah. Now, what have we got for you today? Today's show. Premier League is back. We know about the Premier League a bit.
Yes.
Got an Everton top on. I've got a Man United top on. Some other bits of Premier League memorabilia in the background. Got an Everton flag knocking around somewhere. So we will be making our Premier League predictions, where we think people are going to come in the table. Who's getting relegated? Who's getting promoted from the Premier League? Who's winning the Premier League? Who's getting Europe? The players to have, the players to not have, the transfers we like, the transfers we don't like. And then we're going to follow up with some SO7 budget-friendly squads. Because, it's a pricey world out there when the cards drop, isn't it? We can't all be going out there and just buying the best players as much as we want to. I can't afford a Haaland or a Bruno, so we need some cheaper options. So that's what we've dug into and come up with a squad each to, it might be a bit more wallet-friendly before payday. And then, a bit of transfers. And then, it is a Premier League special. So if I didn't give you a little bit of time to talk about Everton, maybe some budget Everton picks or a team, things like that. What sort of friend would I be? And probably about 3/4 of the people who watch the show are Everton fans nowadays anyway. So we got to appeal to our fans. So that's what we'll do as well. So we'll see how long that will take. We may as well get stuck in. And let's get going with the prediction story. Let's run the table. So it's easy for us to come back at the end of the season and see how badly we had it wrong. We've had some shockers before. Definitely had some terrible MLS predictions in our past. I think we did all right on the Premier League ones last year.
I think I remember I predicted Brentford to get heavily relegated last year, and they actually, I think a lot of people did, to be fair, and they were insanely good, weren't they? I don't think anyone had quite expected Keith Andrews to do as well as he did. Yes, I love it. You are a closet Everton fan, really. I've got mine in the cupboard next to me, along with about 158 different Everton artifacts. This is my little chosen selection in the background here. But yeah, we like to do some pretty out there hot takes sometimes, don't we? So we don't look great a lot of the time.
No, but let's start by running the table. And let's start at the bottom, shall we? Predictions. To be relegated. So obviously Man City with that 100-point deduction they're going to get.
Yeah, I actually saw that Richard Masters did a little interview today, the CEO of the Premier League or whatever the hell he is, talking about, oh, sorry, we can't talk about it. Blah, 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 blah. It's taking ages, blah, blah. Piss off. You didn't take your ages to bloody give us a 10-point deduction, did you bell cheese? I presume he's watching the show. He can go fuck himself as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. There you go, Richard Masters. That's an early message from Sorare Thursday Club to you. But presuming that they once again get tied up by lawyers for at least another season and Man City don't get an automatic relegation, who do we think is going to go down? 20th place from you?
So I think I think 20th kind of writes itself. To be honest, I think a lot of people are going to be predicting the same team for this. I'm going to go for who I think is quite heavily the third weakest team of the three promoted teams, and go for Hull. I think obviously they came up through the playoffs last year, didn't they? And they've made a few signings. I think they've made something like 10 signings, to be fair. So they're putting some effort in to make their squad, good enough to take on the league. But I don't know. I'm just not quite sure they're going to have enough in there, enough goals. Oliver McBurney's tried to do some Premier League appearances here and there for various teams and not really done it. And I'm not sure when the going gets tough, whether their fans will still be backing them. Maybe they will. I don't know. But I'm going to go for Hull. Sorry, Hull fans.
Yeah, down with the Tigers. I've gone for Hull as well. I mean, I like Lucas Harrington, Colorado Rapids.
Mm.
He's kind of a cool transfer, but I'm not sure youngsters are really going to save the day in the Premier League. I actually have two super rares from Hull, McBurney and Marita.
I was going to mention Marita. He's a pretty steady player at Sporting, wasn't he? I know they've just signed Noble Mende for decent money. I'm not sure I know a huge amount about him, but I think he's supposed to be quite good. But yeah, they're going to be. I'd imagine they're going to be quite backs to the wall in a lot of games. And for me, they haven't got enough up top to be able to score their way out of the relegation zone. So yeah, Hull.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of players coming in, probably lots more still to come in. That squad doesn't look good enough on paper, and I struggle to see them getting out of it. So, agreed. 20th place, Hull. 19th place.
Would you like to go 19th, or shall I go again?
Oh, I can do 19th. I have gone for. So I had to mix it up somewhere. I had to try and put something on. I did think I did a Brentford for relegation as well. Was my controversial hot take last time, which went very poorly. This time I'm going to go for Fulham.
Don't mind Fulham. It. I've got them to go 18th, so they were going to be my next position up. I do think they'll struggle, yeah.
So an 18th and 19th for Fulham. On paper, I think Robinson was good at the World Cup when he came back in. I think he's a good player. Leno's an okay goalie. Bassey's an okay scorer on Sorare. If you're looking at Sorare cards, cheap, decent scorer. Sander Berger. Oscar Bob had a lot of potential. Smith Rowe had a lot of potential. Iwobi can be a decent points churner, but they never signed anyone. They haven't signed anyone again this year. There's just the incomings.
They've signed that Shea Charles, haven't they? He's a good young player. I know they've signed a couple of players from Real Madrid that are young as well. They've signed some good young players, but I'm just not sure if they're going to have enough experience. Maybe, I don't know, but I just do think they'll struggle that Marco Silva. I think they'll realise what they've lost now. He's gone to Benfica. I don't rate Arbeloa at all as a manager. So I'm thinking more of it's going to be a managerial issue. And they're going to sort of have a really bad start and then won't be able to get it back.
Yeah, I think having a Real Madrid contact is good, but I don't know if you need two young Real Madrid players really are what Fulham needs to bolster the squad right now. I think they need a bit of experience, and I think their fans have been complaining about lack of incomings for a long time now, and I think it'll catch up to them eventually. So you gone 18th, I gone 19th, so maybe it wasn't such a bold take by me. Fulham.
Yeah, so my 19th, I have gone for. It was a tough one, this, because I think a few teams will struggle, and it's always very difficult to not instantly just pick the three promoted teams, isn't it? But I've gone for another promoted team as finishing 18th. I've gone for Ipswich. I was sort of thinking between Ipswich, Coventry. I do think Coventry just have a bit more togetherness as a team, and have Lampard, who's done it in the Premier League as a player, as a manager, and relegation zone with Everton, getting out and done amazing things as a player. I just think they'll have a bit more. But yeah, I'm going to go for Ipswich. Not sure there's a huge amount there to sort of really bother a lot of teams. I like Fatawu, to be fair, came from Leicester. Sasa Lukic and Florentine Luis are not really going to do much. They're going to be basically on the back foot defending a lot. They're not really progressive midfielders. Yeah, I just think they're going to struggle. I mean, that back four there to me is very, very weak. Issa Diop, for some reason, was starting for Morocco in the World Cup. One, I think he only just qualified to play for them, and two, is he honestly the best Moroccan centre back they could have? I rate Morocco, and he's not good, but just going to go with Ipswich.
Yeah, I think my aid would be good side in. I like Leif Davis. Hopefully, he can get back to like some top level form. I think they could have some good scorers in there. I think they might do all right. I think they could have some really smashy games and some where they get put away. But I think they could rack up enough points that I didn't pick them.
I would say that if they kept their manager, who went up with them last time, McKenna now, I think they do all right. I think that experience he would have got from managing them, and they did okay in the Prem last year, but they just last time, didn't they? They just fell away a little bit at the end.
Yeah.
Is it Gary O'Neill they got now?
Yeah, Gary O'Neill. I think he'd be all right.
It's a bit uninspiring, isn't it?
I wanted to put Everton in for the lols. Obviously, you know, I find it hilarious. And to be fair, most of the time you've almost proved me right. But last season you pulled yourself out of it. So I've not been able to put Everton in this season. I think there's a few weaker teams. Leeds, I've just been pulling them up on Sorare inside, looking at the squads, and I was slightly uninspired by Leeds. I couldn't see much change there that excited me. But everyone was saying Coventry are going to do really well this year. I think Coventry do well. I think Coventry and Lampard will do well. Coventry. And then I opened up their squad and I'd look at it and I went, I don't fucking know how you see that. Hadji Wright's obviously out to start the season, so it'll be Ellis Sims up top. I think Thomas Asante is going to start. I don't think Hamer's going to start the season. Jada Silva, Van Ewick, Bobby Thomas. I'm not inspired there. I think it's cool they got up. I really wanted them to go up. I'm happy for Lampard's. I thought the way they played was good. Jada Silva's the next Bristol City player. I'm just not looking at that team and thinking that stays up in the Premier League.
Uren Cree is a good player. I think he's decent. The young Ghanaian midfielder. I'm thinking more just because of Lampard. The Lampard factor will sort of get them over the line. That was my thinking. You know, their squad's not too much different to sort of Ipswich's on paper, but yeah, it's the Lampard versus O'Neill for me.
No, I don't know who I'd want on an SO5. I don't know who I'd want to own any of them. So for me, from a Sorare point of view as well, easy avoid. Whereas some people like Ipswich, Everton, Leeds, I could probably get behind owning. You know, there's players there. I'd want a Garner or a Stack or players like that. So
I've got about 3 Ellis Sims 50%ers knocking about somewhere, so I'll have to dig them out.
Okay, so let's skip the middle of the table because no one wants us to try and decide who's going to become like 15th, 14th, 13th, 12th. And let's hop up to 7, 7, 6, 5, then 4, 3, 2, and then number 1. Shall we go for number 7 from you?
Well, I actually went 8, 7, 6, and then top 5 getting Champions League because I feel like
let's do that then. I've got 8 in front of me.
Okay, 8. So number 8, I have gone for Everton. Conference League, we actually very almost got Europe last season. We were right up there until sort of 33 games between sort of 7th and 10th, within sort of 3 points of Europe, and then we just completely shut up at the end of the season. I do think we've done some good business so far. I think we also need to buy fullbacks. We need to hopefully keep it in and die. But yeah, I just think we're primed and ready for a good season. And I know I would say that, but that's what I think. So I'm going to go for us in 8th.
I think your first 11. I think you've got nothing behind it. I think you've got no depth. I know your fullbacks are terrible. So I could see you with a full bill of health being top half of the table. But where's your depth? You're going to have Mikalenko and Jacob Ryan. Like,
we're going to sign 2 fullbacks. So
that's what you say every year.
We actually are.
But, you know, Garner, Norgard, Dewsbury Hall, and Dye, Branthwaite, Tark. It's a good spine, but you need signings to go higher.
I think you should
for
go
me.
For yourself.
Well, at least I didn't put you to get relegated this year. Come on, I gave you a bit of.
Yeah, I know. I think we'll do all right this year.
8th, I've gone for plucky Bournemouth. Plucky Bournemouth.
I've got them 7th. So that saves me talking about them. We can talk about them together.
Yeah, Royal Ivy hates them because they were the original cheats of the Football League. But they also pay loads of money to buy Bristol City players, which I like about them.
They do.
I think Ryan's really good. I think it's going to be his last season at Bournemouth. I like Silva. It's coming. Truefair. I think the keeper's good. Scott. I think they're solid. I think they're fun to watch. And yeah,
I definitely agree with you. I'd be putting them around 6th, if it like even higher if they hadn't lost Iraola, sorry.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll see what this new guy does, but they announced him really early, didn't they? They announced him before the season even ended, so he was ready to go. Had a full preseason. Apparently, he plays in a very similar way to Iraola. And yeah, they're a very good team to watch and play really well as a team that have also very good individuals. So yeah, I like them as well.
Also, I think Krupi's awesome. As he's out towards the end of the year, isn't he? So when I start to pick up Premier League cards, once the initial hype's died down, like he'd be someone I'd be interested in getting in ahead of his return. I think he looked awesome. He probably would have gone right if he wasn't injured.
Yeah, he got talked about at Paris Saint-Germain, didn't he? And some big teams. And like you say, Ryan they've put him in the shop. They've obviously just bought him and said to him, look, we know you're going to be class and want to leave it in 3 years. Just give us your all for 3 years and we'll sell you for a profit. And he's already worth like probably double what they paid for him. Like he looks so good in some of the games last year. So yeah, I think he'll have a really good season.
They can score well on Sorare as well, Bournemouth players. That's what I like. Yeah. I've had stacks of them before, collections.
I think it's because they're quite end-to-end. So a lot of their defenders get like last-man tackles and blocks, and then their attackers are obviously, because it's end-to-end, I think they obviously just score well in AA.
Yeah, the defence can put up AA, which is why, like Senesi and things like that, Truefair's been good. So yeah. At the Bournemouth, we'll go against Royal Ivy and we'll back them. Next up, so you had Bournemouth in 7th.
Yeah, so why don't you go with your 7th?
I've gone for the Bin Dippers. Liverpool.
Oh my God, I love it.
I could probably put them up to 5th if my brain let me. When I look at the first 11 on here, I think like Soboslai is a really good scorer. His classic card's pretty cheap as well as like an enabler for a budget team. If you weren't using a classic goalie, I think Soboslai is a pretty good enabler. I think Wirtz, obviously, if you've played Sorare for any amount of time, he was an absolute wonder kid when under 23s was a massive thing. I think he has to come good at some point. I think he's too good not to. Same with Isaac. Engamoa looks good. I think first 11 looks good. Could probably be a 4th, 5th place team but then I'm not sure about defence. I'm not sure about defence. I'm definitely not sure about the defensive backups.
Yeah, completely agree. And that's not just my Everton head. Like they were showing a lot of weak points last year, and they've signed another dodgy defender in Araujo, in my opinion. And Frimpong and Kirkes aren't good, and Virgil van Dijk is nowhere near the player he was like 5 years ago.
If you that second 11 on this team profile, Simicas, Leone, Jacquet, Jones, McAllister, Muniz, Chiesa, and injured Ekiti, is that?
Obviously, we're talking as well with a few weeks left to transfer, and a lot of this can change. I know they're heavily interested in Barcola, aren't they? And I think they're interested in another PSG striker or player called Mbaye, the Senegal player. So, it could change, but I like seeing them struggle, so I would happily see them down in 7th. I've got them 4th. Annoyingly, I don't know why I put them 4th in hindsight. I should have put them 7th. But yeah,
I do think like Isaac, Wirtz, and Gamoa could.
I think Wirtz is going to have a really good season this year, and it annoys me. And I really rate that Rio and Gamoa.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of variables in that team.
Yeah,
and the defence does need to pick up. I've put them 7th because I had them in a range of 4th to 7th, and I went, well, let's put them at the bottom of it because why would I be nice?
Okay, well, I'll go for my 6th then, shall I? So I've gone for Villa. Now, Villa obviously are going to have a big change this year. They're getting rid of Watkins, the Saudi. Obviously, they've got rid of Rodgers, which would be a big miss for them. To Chelsea. What else are they going to potentially get rid of Martinez, aren't they, as well, with a new keeper coming in? They've had a couple of big moves away, but they've recouped a lot of money for Rodgers. They've spent some already on Manzambe, who was one of the big hits from the World Cup, wasn't he? Who's a good young player. They've got another couple of really good young players coming through, one of which we may get into later. And I still think they're going to have a really solid season. And ultimately, also, the manager is quality, in my opinion. He's a fantastic manager. And I know they're going to have European football alongside the Premier League, but I still think they're going to be quite a regular European qualifier for a few years. And at the moment, they're quite set up as well as a team, as a club. So, yeah, I've gone for them 6th.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of Manzambi and the new kid, new wonder kid up front. Yeah. I think you could get some exciting players to pick up, but overall, when I'm looking at it doesn't overly excite me in terms of players I'd want to own on Sorare, with them having to mix it up in midweeks and things like that.
They got a few injuries right now. They've signed that João Gomez, who's always looked like one of Wolves' bad players, didn't they? When they were struggling. They've got Anana obviously as well, but he's got a bad injury. So they're missing
Abraham, Garnacho. Yeah, it's long. Bailey.
Yeah, they've got a few injuries, but I just think in general they're just such a well-run club with a great manager. They're going to be fine.
Yeah, I had them in 5th. I was toying and froing between 5th and 6th, but in 6th place I went for not Villa. That is still Villa. Brighton. I like Brighton. How can you not like Brighton?
I like Brighton as well. I kind of think of them as my second team as I went to uni.
Yeah, just like Brighton. Just like, yeah, cool team, Brighton.
A manager that's younger than about 4 of the players, which I always find funny.
So they got rid of my boy Welbs, which was unfortunate. But to start the season, it's going to open up with Rutter up top, like Diego Gomez, De Kuiper, Gross, Ayari.
They just keep farming out quality young players, don't they? They just have such a good recruitment. They were someone I ummed and ahed about putting sort of 7th, 8th, but I've had them 9th. Let's just say I think they'll be definitely competing for Europe for sure. But yeah, they've got a really good squad.
Yeah, I like them. They're young, exciting, interesting to watch. Brighton, 6th place for me. And then I had Villa in 5th. So you had...
Right, so this may be my first sort of quite out there pick. Obviously, maybe you think that's Everton in 8th, but I've gone for Man City 5th, which is pretty out there. There's obviously quite a lot of factors affecting that decision for me. I think obviously Pep leaving is massive, and I'm not a huge fan of Maresca. I know Pep would have been basically saying he wants Maresca to replace him, but I think anyone that replaces Pep is going to struggle this season. I think it's such a large boots to fill. And yeah, I think they're going to struggle with that for one. 2, I think the Chargers result will happen at some point this season. I think it will be. I think it potentially will be in the middle of the season. I think that's going to sort of disrupt their season a little bit. And then 3, not only have we had Rodri leave pretty much in the last 24 hours to Barca, but they've lost Bernardo Silva and John Stones as well. So 3 really loud dressing room players, 2 of which you could say were really key players for many years for them. Now, don't get me wrong, they've got a fantastic squad and they're going to still do well. I'm sure they might finish in the top 3 or 2, might even win the league, who fucking knows. But I just think they're going to struggle. I think they're going to definitely have a down tick this season. So I just went for 5th. I went a bit rogue.
Okay, well, I'll do my Man City while we're on Man City. I
Okay.
put them second. I think people are overreacting.
Maybe.
They've still got Haaland, Semenyo, Cherky, Anderson, Diaz, Guardiola, Nico O'Reilly,
Yeah, I mean,
Donnarumma.
their squad's insane. Don't get me wrong. I just think
Mark
there's.
Gay, he can't make this lineup. Eight Nori can't make it.
Yeah.
Marmouche, Doku. There's players everywhere. They brought Buardi in, who I think is incredible. Yeah. Stones wasn't playing anyway. Silva was near the end of his timeline anyway. Rodri's a big loss, but I think Elliot Anderson can fill the gap. There's question marks. New manager, not having Pep yet, but I still think that team is nuts.
I mean, especially in the attacking areas. I'm just thinking more that when they've faced adversity in the last 5 years, where they lost Rodri for like a lot of the season, they always just had like Pep to sort of get them 15 straight wins to end the season or something stupid. I just don't think Maresca's got that about him. He's not got the same aura. He's just like a Timu Pep.
Okay. They're a big injury. They could be in trouble off a big injury, but like a Haaland or an Anderson. But I still think they're really good. I don't want them to come second, but I think they might. So you done 5? Are we up to 4?
Yeah, we're 4. I think you put. Who did you put 4th? You put Villa 4th, did you?
I haven't gone 4th yet. I've got Liverpool, Brighton, Villa 7-6-5, Man City at 2, and then in at 4.
Well, 4th I've put Liverpool, so we can just gloss over that. I mean, for much of the bits we already talked about, I do think they're going to struggle a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So you've gone Liverpool for 4. In 4th place for me, I have gone for MU. Manchester United.
Okay. Well, I've got them third. So I've predicted them better than you.
You have. I like the direction they're going last year under Carrick. I think there's some good scorers. I think they're a good, fun team to have from an SO5 perspective. Cunha, Bruno, some of the attacking options. Would it be Diallo, Mbuemo, Dorgu, Rashford? Like, who's going to be playing? And they'd be interchangeable and it'd be fun. But they didn't have any midweek games because they just got knocked out of the cup straight away last year. It didn't have Europe.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a lot easier playing one game. Like, who's got it this year? Chelsea and Spurs have only got no Europe. That makes a big difference. And from an SO5 perspective, last year you could pick your Man United players. You sort of knew what was happening. You might see that with Spurs and Chelsea this year, although Chelsea by 412.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of unhappy players at Chelsea because they're not going to have a full rotation.
Not a lot of games to go around. But that was fun. That's going to be different this year. And United, perennial injury list every year. I think they need a couple more signings to really get up there. I don't think they got the depth. Yeah. Like, is Dorgu the backup left winger or is he the backup left fullback? Are we just going to have Luke Shaw? They need another midfielder because Ugarte was already one of the worst signings they've ever had, and now he's not available anyway. So Tielemans is a bargain, absolute bargain. Might be signing in the summer.
Good player,
ridiculous price compared to everyone else.
I think he'll do really well with Bruno, won't he? He'll play. They're sort of both quite creative and.
Yeah, Andrew Santos looks good. I like him. I think again, I'm being biased, but I do think you can get fun stack out of Man United.
Okay, well, I don't mind it. I got them third, so I'm happy for you to crack on and say who you think's going to be third. Then up.
Okay, for some of the reasons I just said.
Yeah.
Chelsea third,
and they're my second place. So
yeah, they'll never fucking stop buying 40 players a day. No, I don't know how they're going to keep everyone happy. Is what you said. But I like Xabi Alonso. I can't believe he didn't end up as Liverpool manager and he's ended up as Chelsea manager. He's nuts that they just, as soon as he signed for Chelsea, they sacked.
You know what it is? You know what it is, mate? Getting probably quadruple the money at Chelsea.
Yeah, so it's a bit mad. But I eventually, like football manager syndrome, when you just keep buying all the best young players in the world, eventually they age up enough that you commit world
I
domination.
mean, that front four there, Rogers, Palmer, Esteban, Pedro that's fucking good.
Yeah. Again, fun team. You can get a fun lineup out of that on SO5. Not cheap. Is it the easiest one to predict? Not sure. Because he's got to try and keep everyone happy while having no Europe to give him games in. But Enzo might go. But I think Lavia's looked all right pre-season. Rogers, Pedro,
they'll probably just
Palmer.
go and sign like 4 more players. I'll tell you what I don't rate whilst we're here. Maxence Lacroix for £52 million. I've never seen him have a good game. How have they got that money for him? It's insane. He got rinsed by Bellingham against France. Remember, Bellingham like chopped back on him about 6 different times and sent him to the bloody cleaners. Yeah, there we go.
But then we did bring on Trevor Chalobah, who got cut to pieces by every French player for his 10-minute cameo of the World Cup.
That is true.
Injury problems, maybe Reece James gets injured again. The defensive shuffles they had to do last year was mad, but I just think they got enough players and no midweek that I think they'll do all right. I got them third. So second I had Man City.
Yeah.
So
second I had Chelsea. So
you had Chelsea.
So
your 4-3-2 was
my 4-3-2 was Liverpool 4th, Man U 3rd, Chelsea 2nd, Man City 5th.
I was Man United 4th, Chelsea 3rd, Man City 2, which means we've both got Arsenal.
I think it's going to be a runaway. I think we could see Arsenal for a few years now, personally.
Yeah.
And they've bought really well. Bruno Guimaraes is going to do really well. He's added to their collection of shithouses they've got in their team, and he's probably the chief of the shithouses, let's be honest. Solis is a good player as well. And they have got a good squad anyway, so I think it's going to be pretty good for them this season.
Continuity kills the league. Yeah, I mean, good squad, good bit of depth now. Like, this is their opening lineup, apparently, for Coventry. Rice isn't in it, Zubimendi's not in it, Timber's not in it, Saliba's not in it, Saka's not in it, Eze's not in it, Gyökeres isn't in it. Yeah, I think everyone's on a little bit of the catch up, and this could be a right. I don't think they'll do it by miles, but I think they'll do it.
Yeah, I think they'll win by 10, 15 points, to be honest with you. I think they've been playing with a lot of pressure in the last few years to get that win, haven't they? To win the league, and they've finally got it. That I think it's just going to release all the pressure, and they're just going to play really good football now.
Yeah, and they skin Man City alive in the Community Shield. So, all right. So we both got Arsenal to win the league, sadly. That was our Premier League predictions. We'll come back at the end of the season and see how we did. A little bit of variety there from us, actually. All we need to avoid is Fulham coming like 7th for egg on the face. Let's move on to some budget Premier League picks. This is what we're here for. We can't all afford an Arsenal squad. We can't all afford to buy all the Chelsea 47 players they've got and then try and pick a starting 5. So we need some budget picks. We need those cheap options. So we've had a look through. We've made an SO7 squad of in-season Premier League players we think are good value. And we've allowed ourselves a classic keeper to keep the price down, which I imagine a lot of people will be doing in their 5-man leaderboard and hot streak teams anyway. So we've got a goalie, 2 defenders, 2 midfielders, a striker, and an extra, right?
Yep.
So we can go position by position.
Okay.
So do you want to lead off with your goalie?
Yeah, so I've started off picking 2 goalies for my 1 goalie position, just because I want to reference 2 different things here. So I'm picking Robert Sanchez as my classic goalkeeper, even though I don't rate him in any way whatsoever. But for some reason, the powers that be at Chelsea seem to just keep playing him. He's 90% chance to start the season, and I think Chelsea are going to do well. So for that reason, at £5, which compared to some other Premier League goalkeepers is very low of the better teams, I've put him in as someone to have in there. And let me just reiterate, I think he's shit, but I do think that Chelsea will do well this season. My other one I put is Trafford. I don't think Leeds will struggle as much as you've said. I think Trafford's a great keeper. and he was £6, so only a little bit more. So yeah, I went, and it'll be busy as well. You think Leeds are probably going to have a few more shots to keep out. So those are my options there.
Sanchez, how do they buy so many players and never thought, and so many random goalies?
I don't know.
And he survived.
I thought they were going to go for that Diogo Costa from Porto, but apparently 100% not now. I don't know. And they got that Penders, the young lad, the Belgian lad, I think is really good. They've got another couple of young keepers that I thought were good and they've let go. They got Slanina. I think they still technically own him somewhere. I don't know where the fuck he is these days. They got that other guy. They got the guy they gave to Bournemouth, who I thought was a good keeper, like Jorvic.
Yeah.
Jorgensen, who I thought was better. I thought all these keepers are better than Sanchez personally, but
there's some good scoring spells last season though. So yeah, a good enabler at fiver. I went for Senor Kinky. Antonin Kinski. He literally got thrown to the fucking wolves in the Champions League, didn't he? Straight away. I thought that was the end of him. Thought we never see that boy again.
Two hours led to goal and subbed in the 15th minute.
Yeah.
Cheers for coming.
Like Karius. Remember when Karius had an absolute howler and then he was out of Liverpool? It's like, there's no way he can mentally recover from that. I thought this kid was done. But he's back. He's back. Vicario's out of here.
Yeah.
Juventus didn't want Martinez, so they got Vicario. So it's open goal for Kinski. £7, I think he is. A classic under 23 goalie as well. If for some reason you want to run him in under 23 instead of this made up SO5, SO7 Premier League.
He put some massive performances up for Tottenham at the end of last season when they were fighting for their lives. It's massive saves. Doesn't necessarily reflect in his scores there. Obviously, a couple of cleanies, but I can definitely remember him making at least 3 or 4 saves that saved them like a point or 2 points or whatever. So I think he's sort of got the fans back on side after that absolute shit show against Atletico.
Yeah. The problem with Sanchez and Kinski is they have no midweek utility, but we are a Premier League budget picks here, so we can avoid admonishing ourselves for that because...
And they both would have probably rotated in midweeks anyway.
Yeah. So, and my other reason for picking Kinski is that he pairs with one of my defensive picks, which I've gone for, which is Senesi. I was talking earlier about how I really enjoyed Bournemouth's ball playing ability out from the back. And this boy was a part of that last year. £14 currently as we speak for an in-season Senesi. Great at Bournemouth. Good on the ball. He's an Argentina international, which actually works against him in my eyes now. The bastards. Yeah. But he's a free transfer. I'd have taken him at United on a free transfer.
I think there were a lot of teams after him actually. Everton, I know, and then there was a few other Premier League teams after him.
Bargain, obviously free. Can't be any lower than free. So bargain. I think he could put up good AA at Spurs. Will there be a Spurs revival? They spent enough money that you'd like to think they won't come 17th again. It'd be funny if they do, but I don't know if they will.
The only question I would have is, I guess this will mean they have to, for him to play, they need to be playing 3 centre backs, right? So for me, Van Hecker and Van der Ven will definitely be playing. But I think they did play with 3 centre backs quite a lot last season, and sometimes they put Van der Ven to sort of left wing back than they sometimes. So yeah, that's the only thing to watch, I guess, for those 3 centre backs is who sort of is rotated in or rotating. I don't know, but
it looks like to start the season it'll be a 4 because Mickey Van der Ven has discomfort. And you know you don't want discomfort.
I remember the last time I didn't have discomfort.
So yeah. Senesi, I like when a player's got 100 in the locker, you know?
Yeah, no, he's a good AA scorer.
Yeah. Oh, hundreds. Oh, another 100. Oh, another 100. Oh, another 100. Like just they're just everywhere.
Well, do you want to do your other defender as well, and I'll do my 2?
Yeah. My other defender, replacing the boy Senesi at Bournemouth, Antonio Silva. See, a lot of symmetry between my players. Everything links. You know, I thought about this.
Great segue.
Yeah. Silva, was really good at Bournemouth, right? Not Bournemouth, Benfica.
Not 100.
Portugal got 100. I like 100 and Locker. Bournemouth are very good at shrewd in the transfer market. They make good signings, good young signings, under 23 as well. So, pairs with Kinski in the under 23 lineups as well when you're not using them for the Prem.
Yeah.
He is, 17 quid, lowest price at the moment. I like how Bournemouth play. I think they'll have a good season, which is why I picked one of their players. I think there's good AA potential on his scores as well, without having to need a decisive. Yeah, and lots of room for growth and potential as well. Antonio Silva.
I like it. They spent a lot of money on him, so you'd like to think he's going to start. They've got a few centre back options there, but I think he's probably going to be the starter for sure.
Nice. Over to you.
Okay, so I've gone for Mateus Nunes. It's my first one. So apparently he's got a slight knock at the moment, so he might not start the first game. But if he ends up being the starting right back for Man City for most of the season, like he was for the last couple of seasons, I think, under Pep, if you scroll back far enough, you see his scores are insanely good. Plays various sort of attacking right back. Main point now as well is all of his previous cards were midfielder cards, and his new cards for this season are defender cards. So 10 points will be added on top of a lot of those scores he got there for clean sheets. I imagine Man City got quite a lot of those. And I just think for 11 to 14 pounds, which I think is roughly what he's going for on auction and secondary market at the moment. If you compare that to the other starting Man City defenders, that's really, really good value for a team that I know I've mentioned might struggle a little bit, but realistically, they're going to be a very good team this season. So, yeah, Mateus Nunes for me is my first one.
Yeah.
And then, so I've gone for another one, which is also very good value for his team. I've gone for Saliba as my second one. Now, I know he's injured. Before anyone in the comments goes, he's injured for 3 months. I don't think it's quite going to be 3 months. I think it's more likely to be 2 months with this back problem he got at the World Cup. But it's reflecting his price. He's going for 15 quid at the moment for the starter. He's going to, as soon as he's back fit, he's going to be starting for sure. Starting defender for the team that keeps 38 clean sheets a season, it seems. Is pretty solid. When you compare it to Gabriel Magalhaes' price is like quadruple that. So yeah, I just put him in because if you can get an Arsenal defender that's pretty much nailed once he is back, obviously he's injured, I know, that'll be pretty tasty, I would say.
Hey, yeah, can't argue with an Arsenal France defender for £15 on the auction market. Yeah, I'll give you that. Nunes and Arsenal as well. You found some big team players as well, which is always nice. They'll give you the midweek as well.
Yeah.
All right, midfield.
So like to go with yours, mate. Go with yours.
My boy, unjustly left out of the England squad for the whole summer. Not given a minute at the World Cup. My boy Kobe. Kobe Mainu. He is auctioning about 16 quid at the moment. Limited preseason minutes. Apparently got injured right at the end of England duty, wouldn't he? Which is why he couldn't play in the last, the third place playoff game. But he will cook once he's up and running. Out of completely out of the picture under Amorim.
I mean, Carrick loves him, doesn't he? Carrick loves him. I think he was one of your best players after Carrick came in, wasn't he? And I almost put him in my midfield here. I went for 2 even more dirt cheap players than him. But if he starts Man U in midfield, I know there's maybe a little bit more competition in there now, but Bruno's going to push on to be number 10 now, right? And then,
and if they don't sign another midfielder, they have Mainu, Santos, Tielemans is really all they've got in here. And they have Europe this year, and hopefully they don't get knocked out right at the start of the cup competitions by Grimsby. So they will have, more games to play, and he's going to get a lot of minutes, and I think he's going to be really good. I think he's going to cook, and I could not complain at that price. I would love to have him for 16 quid. And I will definitely be buying him when we start picking up Premier League players. What always happens when we do these budget things is I always end these videos and then want to instantly buy them all. And if I was going to buy them all, I would definitely start with this boy, Vitaly Janelt, going for about £8 on auction. Brentford always seem to do well and be a really good unit. He's got 100 in the bag, got goals in the bag, got assists in the bag, 90s, 80s. £8 when you take him to auction. I think that's a good player. I think he might shit the bed for you, but we're building budget teams, and at £8 currently, I think value for money.
Yeah, I think that's solid.
Right up there at the moment.
Like we talked about, Brentford proved a lot of people wrong last year, and if they're going to be good, did they get Europe in the end? They were close. They might have just dropped out right at the end and been replaced by Brighton. I can't quite remember in that last day what happened. I know Everton didn't get it.
Team was all right though.
I think they're
Sangare, Yano, Lautaro, Sade, Thiago. Good SO5 team.
Good shout. Okay, so I've gone proper budget for my midfielders. My defenders and my strikers and my keepers a bit more spenny. I've gone proper budget, just because I really do rate these players quite a bit. So I've gone for a player from a team I've picked to get relegated in Josh King from Fulham. I think it might be Joshua King potentially on Sorare. Yeah, Joshua King. I don't know if you watched much of this guy play at all. Maybe you haven't, but he is fucking good. He's the most similar look player I've seen play that plays like Ndai. He's just so good on the ball. I don't want you to necessarily look at his previous scores. He's really young. He wasn't playing a lot. I just feel like he might have a bit of a breakout season for a struggling Fulham team that are trying to create chances this year because they're struggling. I know he's one of the players that was called up for the World Cup as that weird little practice squad. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I think it was him, Alex Scott, and Rio Ngamoa, wasn't it? Those three. So it just shows, he's definitely getting thought about as a future England player. Seen him play in drips and drabs last year, and he looks really good. I wouldn't be surprised if a much bigger club comes in for him, in the next year or two. I could see him playing for someone like Arsenal or something.
Predicted to start the season opener as well. £4.80.
So yeah, I just literally saw him was priced at like £4 to £5, and I just thought that is insane value for someone I think is really good.
You mean £4.50?
Yeah, and then
£45.
No, I said between £4 to £5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then my second one, I've gone for Jack Rodoni. Rodoni, I think you pronounce it. Coventry midfielder. Coventry I've talked about earlier in the show. Think they're going to do all right this season. Don't get me wrong. I don't think they're going to finish top 10, but I do think they'll be clear of relegation. He's a good player for them. He scores well. If you look at his scores historically, obviously most of his scores are championship related. So you'll see how that defers over to the Premier League. But he's got a really good score in the locker. He's creative. He's got a slight injury, I think, at the moment. I think he had a shoulder operation, I read, about a month ago. But he's about to be back in full training. And typically, shoulder ops aren't too bad to come back from. Obviously, you don't lose your shoulders too much when you play footy. But I think he was going for about £2 in season at the moment, which I think is really good value for someone that clearly has high scores in the locker. And Coventry do play quite sort of attacking end-to-end football, so he's likely to be involved quite a lot, I'd say. I know they've made a lot of signings, but yeah, I've gone for him at just a cheap £2.
Good player. I mean, there's a lot of differing opinions on Coventry, isn't there? That I picked them to go down because I hate the look of their starting 11 for the weekend. But lots of people have said that they'll do well and they think they'll easily survive. Some people have said they'd be like this year's Sunderland. So who knows? He could be a very good pick, very cheap as well if you need an enabler in there as well. Right, do you want to do striker?
Right, yeah, strikers. Right, strikers, I've gone for my first one. I've gone for Torre. So he's the new Newcastle winger they've got in to replace Gordon. I can't remember his first name. It's like Budlalala Torre.
Bazamari?
Yeah, something like that. It's from Hoffenheim. I think he's from Hoffenheim. Now, I'm not going to lie to the viewers and say I've watched him play a lot of football because I haven't. Watched him play a little bit. I watched him play against Everton. in pre-season. Apologies, I've got a bit of sore throat going on at the moment. He is fucking lightning quick. I didn't think I could get someone quicker than Andy Gordon, but I think because Andy Gordon's real quick, but I think this guy is pacey. I know Newcastle are in a transition this year. They've sold a lot of their players that have been their mainstays for the last few years. Bruno's gone, Tonali's gone, Gordon's gone, obviously the manager's gone. So they're going to have a bit of a transition year, and maybe they'll struggle. But I do think if they're going to do well, he's going to be part of their goals and assists. So I've gone for him at 10 quid for an in-season limited striker from a team I think will be okay around mid-table. I think is pretty good value.
Yeah, I owned his in-season card last year. It was very good.
Oh, did you? Okay, well, there you go.
He's scoring under 23, obviously, international as well. He's looked really good in pre-season, I think. I think they've been...
Yeah, and also he's 20 years old, so he's going to keep that money in his card for a little while. Maybe he'll drop, obviously, when he's not in season at the end of this year, but he's still going to have that under 23 utility for a good 3-4 years. So that value is good. My next one, my last player, I've gone for someone that's probably had a bit of a rise in price in the last week. So it might be a bit more expensive we could have got a week ago, but Majo, Madjo, the Aston Villa striker, has been a bit of the talk of the town. He played really well in the Super Cup, didn't he? Is it the Super Cup, isn't it? Super Cup. Against PSG. I watched the game. He is a handful, and he's 17 or 18 years old. Pardon me. And they're getting rid of Watkins. You know, I'm not necessarily saying he's going to start every game as a 17, 18-year-old, but honestly, he's 17, 18. He looks like a 28-year-old. He's massive. He's the first player I thought of when I saw him was Lukaku, like OG Lukaku, like West Brom and Everton Lukaku, when he was just bullying players.
Yeah.
And he looked good on left foot, right foot. He was good with his head. He could have scored like 3 or 4 goals against Paris Saint-Germain that first half. And I know that's a one-off game, but to have that as your first ever game and to put in that performance shows he's got it in the locker, you know. And I really rate him. A lot of people talking about him as, you know, future replacement for Harry Kane in England, because I know I think he played some games for Luxembourg or something. Well, I can't remember what it was, and then England just went, "What the hell are you doing, mate? Come on, you're English. Come over here."
He's declared for England, isn't he?
He's declared for England now. I think he played a few Luxembourg youth games, hadn't he? And I think he was also someone Villa signed last season. I think, or the middle of last season, they had some sort of problem with how he signed. Yeah, registration, which meant they couldn't play him. But yeah, he's a really good player. I think he's going to go really well for Villa.
He looks scary.
He's 13 to 15 quid right now, which is a lot for a 17-year-old, but I've got a feeling it's going to be worth at least double or treble that moving forward.
Scares crap me. It looks like a young Lukaku. Really good. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I'll be coming against him for years. Like, the potential's nuts there, and obviously they're getting rid of Watkins as well, so they must think he'd be able to do a job. I didn't go for 2 strikers. I went for a striker and a defender. So I will talk you through these. I really wanted to do Ryan at Bournemouth, but he was like 35 quid. It's not really budget, is it?
He's almost had that rise already, isn't he? As much as I think Ryan will be quite quality this year.
Yeah. I struggled with this. I looked at Ndoye at Forest, but I went for Sesko in the end, 23, 25. But striker's not the easiest place to get budget, is it? So Sesko, he's got some girth to him since in pre-season now. He's not the skinny little boy that ended last year.
I saw that photo, but to be honest, I don't trust any photos I see on Twitter these days. To me, it could just be AI.
Yeah, but I think.
But he did all right last season, didn't he? He did all right. He scored some important goals for you. How many did he get? Like 12 or something goals in the Premier League?
He was good. He looked good. He
as
was
far as the first
very
season
lively.
And he's still young. I think people forget he's only 23 still.
He's under 23. Had his season to settle. And I think he'll come on really well this year. Obviously, the main reason I picked him above everything else was United didn't sign another striker. There's no new competition for him. So that's the faith. That's the faith in him from the board. He still recovering to start the season. So, he's probably not going to start the first game. He looked really good. What United have got Mbeumo or Cunha to play like a false nine, Rashford maybe. But I don't think they want to be using Cunha or Rashford in there. So Xerxes, isn't the one. So I think he's going to be trusted in that position this year. And I think he goes on a lot of levels from last year. And at his price point, 20 quid, he's auctioning for at the moment. I think that's really good. And I'm backing him. I struggled at this position. The striker was the hardest one I had to find someone budget. And I ended up inevitably going for the bias pick of my own club. But I like it. And then to finish off, I went for another defender card, I believe he is. A defender card, but he's not going to start the season playing as a defender. It is Maxim de Kuiper, Belgian international, was at the World Cup, started every game, most of the games.
He's a good player. It's attacking, isn't he, as well?
Yeah, got 100 in locker. You know what I feel about having 100 in locker. Just makes a difference for me. And it's 14 quid. And he's going to play out of position, really. He's not going to play as a left back to start the season. If I have a quick look on Sorare's side, he's going to start.
They've got Kadioglu. I think Kadioglu and Maxim Kuiper are much the same. Like they can both rotate with each other quite well. I think that's why they work really well on that left side with them.
Yeah.
And obviously we know Maxim Kuiper from his days at Club Brugge as well. Like he was a bit of a goat back in his day, wasn't he, a few years ago? So he's definitely got a locker, and you obviously think Brighton are going to do well this season. So yeah, it's a good pick.
Yeah, and obviously they have Minter, Matoma, and stuff, but he can move back to that left back spot as well. So for the early season, it's about 14 quid his last sale and stuff. I think that is cool. Right, let's do just a one-off question. So we don't let you choke to death, and we'll do two more quick things, and then we'll let you go have a strepsil. Transfer you're most confident about. Player that's moved that you're most confident about.
Transfer I'm most confident about. No, I'm not going to.
That's what I'm throwing out to you.
I'm not going to. I haven't done any research into price or anything, but I really rate Sangare, who's joined Brentford, centre midfielder. I own his cars. Can't remember his bloody first name now because so many Sangares knocking about.
Mamadou, Brentford, right?
Yeah. I think he's a very good player. Someone I sort of, I wouldn't necessarily say I actually watched play for Lens last year, but I have his card and played his card a lot last year and saw how well he was doing. They spent a lot of money. I think he's a record signing at Brentford. He's going to nail to start in centre midfield. Brentford, I think, will be a solid team again this year. What's he going for at the moment, price wise? I didn't look it up. So he's quite expensive, but I just think he's going to be a really good player, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he does 1 or 2 years at Brentford and moves on to an even bigger club. So that's just someone I think is going to do well.
I like players of L5s of 75 and L10 69. I believe I had his in season last year, and I believe he was in my League One team that won £2,000, I believe.
Ah, was he? Yes, I had an in season one of him last year too. It didn't win £2,000 though. Probably won about £2.40.
Good player, like it. Like my one isn't really original because everyone's talking about him now. But the Quantum of Solace, like he's done really good in pre-season, isn't he? Obviously, Sorare players already know about him from his time over in the Pro League.
Look at that.
Jupiler
That's
Pro
crazy.
League.
I didn't even realise it was that good. That's insane.
I didn't realise he was that good. Obviously got an Arsenal card, had a little look, and I was like, good Lord. Good Lord, that is mental.
From what I've seen of him, I saw him play. I saw a few videos of him when he was at Club Brugge, and I saw his sort of debut in the competitive nature for Arsenal in the Community Shield. He's actually a very similar player to Trossard, I think. He's just a younger, faster version of him. Both quite technical, obviously not tall people, tall footballers, but cuts in really well from the left. And yeah, we've talked about how good we think Arsenal are going to be this year. So if he's going to nail down that position, I think they potentially get rid of Martinelli as well, aren't they?
Yeah, potentially.
So yeah, I'd imagine they'll probably get someone else to compete on that left-hand side there. But yeah, I think that's a good one.
Yeah, I would also say I think Silva, we've already talked about. Bournemouth is cool. Elliot Anderson at City, he could just be Rodri levels.
Fernandez, I thought, was someone I thought about as well. Joining Spurs from West Ham, I think he'll do all right. But
yeah, imagine like Anderson at being the new Rodri, with the amount of time on the ball he's going to get and possession they're going to have. I think he'd be really good. Buardi as well is going to Man City, isn't he? He looks class like that.
These are for the whales, though. We ain't paying £150 players on limited. That's for sure.
But we've done our budget, so we're allowed to spunk our load on this section. I like Zion Suzuki as well because he's got a cool World Cup card. Under 23 goalie. Everyone likes the under 23 goalie. They used to be like the most expensive thing to get hold of on Sorare, didn't they? If you had to pick up an under 23 goalie, going to get yourself a Martin van der Voort or something like that, or having to scout the J League to try and find one.
We're thinking he's pretty sure to be joining Villa, right? I mean, obviously he's not joined them yet, but
I think it's pretty much done.
It's pretty much announced, isn't it? And he's certainly getting a move somewhere, that's for sure, because he's been talked about a lot by a lot of big teams for a couple of years, isn't he? He's been on people's radar.
I think he's done up Villa. I think Martinez is going to go, even though the Juventus move fell through. He'll be the new number one. Just waiting for it to be confirmed. But I really like him as a goalie. Just the way he plays the game. Part of the goalies union myself, so
that's true.
And he's got a cool World Cup card, hasn't he? Got the Japan ones. So, all right, some signings, some big names to look out for, some exciting ones to come. I won't be buying a Quantum Solace for £100 though. But you never know, we might craft one. We got pretty good last year at crafting the big names.
His classic. I wonder what his classic's going for. His Club Brugge.
Ooh.
I'm going to go for £18.
I'm going to go for 24. That feels like a lot for a classic card nowadays, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
He's clearly can't score that well for Arsenal as he has been for Club Brugge, surely.
Lowest price.
8. Bloody hell.
Okay, we were vastly optimistic.
I mean, that's incredibly cheap. I guess Norwich card, that'd be.
Norwich or a 20 card as well.
I'm pretty sure Norwich fans weren't thinking he was going to be scoring those SO5 scores when they had him.
£8. I'm tempted. Videos like this always just make me want to buy everything we talk about. All right, let's just move on to the last section. It's not an STC show without a quick Everton section that never ends up being too quick. So we obviously have the normal suck on those toffees every podcast, but for this one, I'm going to give you the opportunity to give us a budget SO5 Everton stack that can lead us all to glory this year. What have you got for us?
Well, I'd like to firstly start off by saying I have not bought any in-season Everton one of 1,000s for the first time since Everton joined the thing, and it's killed me.
On him?
It's killed me a little bit inside because I am going through the process of moving to a house that's a lot more expensive than the mortgage, and I could not afford those prices. So it's been very sad watching them go on the auctions, but. Yeah, I'm going to ignore the fact that if I was picking an SO5 team, I'd put Garner in there, put Ndai in there, put Tarkovsky, who gets a lot of AA in there. They're all out of the question here for this budget team. So I've gone for Classic Pickford. Classic Pickford you can pick up for around £7 right now, which I think is very cheap, really, considering he's still England's number one, probably for at least the next tournament. You'd think maybe by the next Euros that'll be a bit too much for him at 36, but you'd like to think he'll probably still be at the next World Cup.
The next Euros he'll be out.
I meant that the other way around. But yeah, £7. I think you can get his classic. Oh, there's a £5 there as well. There you go, even cheaper.
That's horrible Vladimir Trader though, nicking people.
That's true. Yeah, so £7 roughly for him at the moment, which is good. So in-season defender, I've gone for as Jared Branthwaite. I think he's going for quite a lot less than Tarks at the moment. He's far better at football than Tarks, I'm telling you right now. Obviously, had a lot of injuries last couple of years. We are a much, much better team defending on the ball, off the ball when he is playing. And he has had a full pre-season this season for the first time in maybe since we got him. I don't know, but he's touch wood. If he can just have a full season where he plays every game, he just needs to have Tark's durability. Tark's plays every single bloody game, no matter what, which sometimes wasn't great last year. He had some terrible games. But Brandt is a really, really good player. Scores well AA-wise. I think Everton is still going to be pretty solid at the back. So I think you can get him for around 10 to 12 quid right at the moment in season, which is good. I still think we're going to sign. Well, we're definitely going to sign a starting right back at some point in the next couple of weeks. So that could end up being a very good purchase for somebody. Maybe even get a left back to put Mikolenko back to the bench, which would be pleasing. But yeah, right now, Jared Brandt for 12 quid is good.
I like Brandt.
Right, midfielder. Obviously, we talked about Garner. Garner's going for 50 quid at the moment and is injured. So not him. Idrissa Gueye was usually pretty solid, but he's now left, which is sad.
So you're going to Dewsbury Hall?
I'm going Dewsbury Hall.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, my midfielder. I mean, he's still 25 quid, which is quite expensive when you compare it to some other midfielders you can get in the Prem. But he's my new favourite player, Dewsbury Hall. I absolutely love him. He's a future captain for sure. He absolutely gets it. He's a winner, and he's going to start every single game. He did really well last year. Created, scored a lot of goals. Had a really annoying hamstring pull just as we were kicking on in January, which set him back for 3.5 months, I think it was, which was a bit of a killer. But yeah, Dewsbury Hall for me is going to be a key man for us this year. 25 quid.
Obviously, what, 23, 22 quid?
22 quid auction in the moment, which was good.
He had a hell of a spell last year at once, didn't he?
He had a great spell. He had a really good. When we were firing at the start of the season, when Grealish and Dewsbury Hall and Dye were assisting each other left, right, and centre. For a few weeks, it was absolutely bloody glorious to watch. But yeah, he's got big scores in the locker, and he's just going to get better, I think, this season because he came in right at the end of last summer transfer window, so he didn't have a pre-season or anything, but he's had a full pre-season this year.
Plays advanced as well, didn't he? Which
plays advanced
for sure. Getting those DAs.
Yeah. So striker, obviously, I would say Ndai. He's really expensive, and actually, weirdly, doesn't score very well. I'm so rare.
No.
Despite the fact he's class, I think because he does so much dribbling and skills, and he probably does give the ball away a bit, but he's so good. If they gave AA for just fucking pure silk, he'd get AA coming out of his ass. But unfortunately, they don't. I've gone for Tyreek George. This is someone I almost put in my SO7 Premier League sort of budget. He's going for 6 quid at the moment in season as a forward card. He is really good. And I'm not just saying that because he's Everton. Like, he's really young, 20 years old, just turned 20. He's playing off the left. Now, there's still a little bit up in the air whether we're going to get Grealish back and maybe his minutes will be affected by that. But he's had a really, really good pre-season for us. Him and Etienne Barry have been like linking up really well. Dewsbury Hall linking up really well. Him and Diblin are really good mates, and Diblin's even had a pretty good pre-season as well, which is promising because we spent freaking enough money on him. But yeah, Tyreek George for 6 quid, I think is a steal, and could once again he's going to have under 23 utility for like 3-4 years. So
slated to start this weekend as well. First game.
Now, my last one. I debated putting Hackney in there. I do think he'll have a good season. I went for Norgard. He's not going to start the season. He's got a bit of an injury. I think Norgard's going to end up being a very astute signing by us. Like, Arsenal management and Arsenal players have all talked about how important he was behind the scenes and how pivotal he was to leadership. And we have lost leaders this summer with Coleman and Idrissa Gueye both leaving. And I just think he's going to end up being an absolute mainstay in our team. So I'm sticking him in just because he's 6 quid and reasonably cheap at the moment. If you look at his scores from Brentford, I think if you compare his scores from Brentford to how I think he'll be with Everton, he scored well for Brentford. He was a good AA. He'd get a lot of goals and assists from free kicks and corners and stuff, and we have a lot of those. So obviously at Arsenal he was limited in minutes, but I think he'll do right for us. So yeah, I'm going to go for that as my little budget team. That's like 12, 24, 55 quid roughly. Maybe get it for 50 quid.
The thing with Norgard, I remembered when they dropped his one at Arsenal, didn't they? He's one of 1,000. And I was like, the Arsenal collection was going for mad prices for the number one. So it's like someone's got to buy this because they won't get a number two. Someone paid 90 quid for
That's crazy.
Norgard, knowing he'd gone to Everton. They did release a second one,
They
which went for 36.
They released his card on the day he officially signed for Everton, didn't they? So it was like they had to just quickly get in a couple of Arsenal cards.
Yeah. 36. But I hate things like that. On a side note, that might be good out of my Sorare grinds my gears. When if you're going to put a player in a collection, because I love collections, you should let them have at least 5 to 10 cards of that team before you switch them over.
There must be some sort of licensing rules or something. Like as soon as it hits like the Premier League archive, like a database or whatever, they can't physically do it again. I don't know.
If you release one, you can just print 2, 3 at the same time, let them out, because it sucks when some collectors have a gap in there. Arsenal
haven't they done some new announcement with collections about it? I think they have. I think that was the last announcement. We can maybe talk about it in the next show, but I think they said if you bought one, it counts in your collection, but if you didn't, it won't show in your collection and won't be a thing that you haven't got, if that makes sense. But I don't know how that will affect collection points in terms of leadership books. Surely you'll just have all those collection points from the Norgard. But
well, obviously, we'll find out more about that for the next Sorare Lounge podcast. But that was about as much as we can talk about the Premier League before the season starts.
I told you we keep it under 45 minutes, didn't I?
Yeah, exactly. We said 25 minutes to 40 minutes. Easy. So we ran the Premier League table and who we thought was going to come where. And we gave you some budget picks, some transfers we liked, and then we had a little Everton review. Yeah, I did put Everton 16th for you, just to clarify.
That's not
just below Ipswich, just above Leeds, in my hastily made Premier League table. But we'll see. We'll revisit it at the end of the year and see how we did.
Ipswich above Everton.
Yeah.
For your tits, mate.
Yeah, you might come 14th. You know what? I'll end up buying half the Everton team anyway, and I'll be running a stack. So, I'll be on board by Christmas. But until that point, thank you for joining us. If you stayed this long, we appreciate you a lot. If you could like, subscribe, and all that vibe on the way out to help us keep the bills on STC, it'd be much appreciated. We'll be back shortly. We've got another podcast planned. We've got some crafting to do. I need some championship cards, baby. And then you'll be back in the crafting hot seat for the Premier League cards. And we've got some other videos lined up as well. We came up with some cool ideas while we were away golfing for the weekend as well. So we got 5 or 6 in the locker. So you'll be seeing lots of our faces shortly. But until that point, there's nothing else left for us to say today. From me, it's a Viva La Thursday Club. From this man over here.
Up the toffees. Come on. Smash Palace on the first game. Come on.
Season new hopes. See you on the next one.